Year. It's your girl Ape and I'm back in Tokyo. It has been such an exciting end of year, beginning of the year for me. I am so happy to be back on this channel. I did like a social media fast. My plan was to, during the fast, just have stuff pre-ready to upload, but my MacBook said absolutely not. My MacBook said, if you think you can edit a video on me, you are mistaken. So I haven't been able to edit until I got back home with my iMac, but there's so much for us to catch up about. So we're gonna recreate this look and I'm gonna get very chatty. We're gonna talk about men, we're gonna talk about sex, we're gonna talk about friends, we're gonna talk about just stuff in between, a little bit of TMI, yes, but it's a girl's chat. That's what you do, okay? Let's get into it. Roll the clips.
This is my first time filming a Get Ready With Me on my DJI, and I'm not really sure how it's supposed to go, or in this setup at least. I filmed one kind of halfway a little bit, but not even really, when I was still in Maryland. This is going to be an experience for all of us. I'm not even sure where to look. Anyway, let's get right on into it. So I've been back home in Tokyo after going back home to Maryland for the holidays. What's super important? First order of business, if you guys watched the last vlog I did when I was like preparing to go back home, I mentioned like my sister, I had asked like my family, like, do you guys want anything from Japan? And my sister had sent me a list of like 40 items, which was insane. 40 items a week before Christmas, mind you, which was insane. I didn't get 40, but I managed to get a few. And do you guys want to know what she got me for Christmas? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. When I tell you, I was like, I'm so annoyed. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like super hung up on stuff like that. Oh, you got me something because I gotta get you something type of thing. Like, that's not my vibe. If you can't get something, you can't get something. But the cheekiness to ask for 40 plus items. And I feel like I'm good with a card. Just something that says, I'm thinking of you. When I tell y'all, I was so annoyed. I almost wanted to take back the stuff, but that's trifling. But yeah, anyone who wanted an update to how that situation played out, that was it. When I went home, first of all, I love being able to have my notes in my hand and not have to have my big old iPad out in order to see my notes while I film on my phone. Anyway, when I went home, I had so many like realizations, or not realizations, but I think that there's like, it's hard to not have a lot of come to Jesus moments when you revisit your old life. Anyway, I went home for the holidays, which home to me means so many things, but in this context, I'm talking about Maryland. Hold on a second, because this angle is... Hold on. Okay, this angle is starting to make a lot more sense to me. I don't know why I had it so low. Growing pains of a new device, I guess. Anyway, I went back home for the holidays and I had a lot of realizations. I actually have no idea. Okay, before I get started, I'm currently editing my home for the holidays vlog and I'm trying to get it down to like 45 minutes because I feel like a vlog longer than 45 minutes is just outrageous. But right now it's sitting at about 90 minutes. Should I do 2 parts or is a 90-minute vlog acceptable? I've been seeing a lot of like hour plus vlogs lately from some of my faves, but I know that I don't watch those. Not that I don't watch those. I'll watch it. If I click on it, I'm gonna watch it. But like, I'll click on it and just let it like play in the background while I like cook or while I'm cleaning up. So I won't catch everything in it. And like, it's kind of just on for the purpose of background noise. And maybe that's why people watch 45-minute videos too. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's like the thing. I'm really hoping I'm not washed out. Yeah, this video is definitely growing pains. Should I do 2 45-minute videos like Home for the Holidays part 1, part 2? Or should I do 1 90-minute video? And it's honestly, the best parts are really just like me kikiing with my friends. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think is like the best course of action? What would you guys watch? Also, you guys, even though the lady tried to play me at Ulta, I did pick up some new makeup, which I'm really excited about. I saw this girl, her name I think is Beats by Deb on TikTok. She used this to like clean up her brows. This is the NYX Pro Fix Stick Correcting Concealer. And she just like used it to like and clean up her brows real fast. And I thought that was so great. Now that we've got all the particulars out of the way, I literally have a list of things that I wanted to talk about. For me, the best part about going home for the holidays was definitely the time I got to spend with my niece, but also with all of my my old friends particularly, and this is like not to take anything away from my other friends, but my theater geek friends, those are the longest friendships I hold at this point. There's something really lovely about hanging out with people that have known you since you were in high school, people who have known you since you were a child, a literal child, people who have watched you grow through different circumstances. That's just really nice and dope. Honestly, there's something really great about people who have made the choice to love you for a really long time. I love them real bad. I also got to spend time with my niece. I learned so much about my niece. She gave herself away. I think I should be watching these videos, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm like, dang, do I need to start censoring what I'm saying? But I can't tell. But I learned so much about her. And honestly, watching her grow up has just been so crazy to me. Like, she's a whole adult now. And my friend was like making fun of me because I still be like, oh, something, the baby. And she's like, isn't she in college now? But what's your point? Like, she's always going to be the baby to me. Sorry, I keep getting messages on my phone. I hit that young do not disturb real fast. But yeah, like spending time with her was amazing, and I actually wound up spending more time with her than I initially thought I would be able to spend with her. And that was, you know, not for the best reasonings, but that was truly a blessing in disguise because I love her and they just grow up so fast. And it's like, I remember being her age and definitely not feeling like I had anybody that I could consult with. I was telling my friends with like small children, like not to call me the cool auntie anymore, like they should call me Big Mommy Tokyo. But to her, as her actual aunt, I am the cool auntie. Maybe I'm being ambitious. Maybe she doesn't think I'm that cool. I don't know. I can't tell. But I felt like the cool auntie. I know a lot of the things we talked about, I didn't have anybody I could talk about that type of stuff with my family, maybe like my friends, but definitely not my family. So it's one of those things, and tell me if you guys can relate. It sucks that all those bad things happened to me, but in the moment, I'm so grateful that they did because I'm able to offer advice to her. You know what I mean? Make her life a little bit easier. Like, it sucks that I had to go through that type of stuff, but I'm grateful for that when I'm able to say, hey, I went through that and this is how I got out of it. Or I went through that and I know how you're feeling and it sucks. Like, is that crazy? Am I making sense? Bad things happen to me and I hate that for me. But in the moment when she's needing advice, she's needing counsel, she's just needing someone to listen, I'm happy that those things happen to me because I can relate to her better. She doesn't have to feel so alone the same way I was meant to feel alone. I hope that makes sense and doesn't sound super crazy. But yeah, those were the best parts of going home. Just being able to like hang out with people. I saw my friend, oh my goodness, so my friend named Misha. I don't know if it was in a vlog or if I just put it on Instagram, but she did come to Japan and like she's on my Instagram, but we've been friends since 2018. And we worked at the same company. That's how we met and became friends. In 2020, obviously COVID happened. I left the company after COVID and I moved to LA. Mind you, our company was in Virginia. Virginia. I was living in Maryland at the time. And then I moved to Japan. She's also my friend that told me to move to Japan. But she made a joke. She was just like, oh, it's so good to see you because I feel like our friendship has existed more online than in person. Which is really funny to think about because she's like very, very, very low key. She is indeed correct when I really stop to think about it. But it's not that we haven't seen each other. Like, she's been in LA, I've been in Maryland, she came to Japan, I went back and we saw each other this time. We have seen each other throughout the time, but it's just not as often as it was when we obviously were working together and saw each other every day. But that just really made me giggle when I stopped to think about it. Yeah, my brows look really good. They look great off camera. I don't know what they look like on camera, but what they look like on camera cannot really be my business. So when I was home for the holidays, I tried to see as many people as I could. What I'm about to say is not about anybody in particular. This is just like a global sentiment that I feel like a lot of my married / coupled / parental friends seemed to have. They were like, oh, you know, like life is so cool for you. Like, you're just kind of traveling the world, doing your own thing. I wish I had been able to do that. And this sentiment is always so fascinating to me because as a woman who would like to be married, I can sometimes look at them and think the same thing. Like, oh my gosh, like how fortunate for you. Like, you found your person. You know what I mean? Really early on in life, you get to have so much of life spent with this person. Like,
like what a blessing that must be. And hearing them essentially saying the opposite back to me is very fascinating. So it makes me think of two things. One, this idea of the grass is always greener is so true. That is a timeless sentiment because everything looks better when you don't have it. Everything looks better when you don't have it. Food tastes better when you're not eating it. It's really truly the 80-20 rule, like, right? Like you see somebody and they have the pieces of your life that seem to be missing. They look at you and they think the same exact. Are you kidding me? I dropped my beauty blender, so I just had to wash it. I think we're good to blend now. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the grass is always greener. Anyway, I'm saying all of this because as somebody who, I'm not gonna say I'm perpetually the single friend. I have been in many relationships. Why am I claiming men? I'm not going to say I'm the single friend. I will say I can sometimes look at my friends and be like, my married friends, and be like, wow, like, oh, like I'm the single friend. I hate that for me. When is my prince going to come? Blah, 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 blah. It's fascinating because those same people will be looking at me like, you know what I'm saying? I love my family. I love my husband. I love my wife. I love my child. But, look at Oppe. Like she's traveling the world. She gets to live outside of the country. She's doing this. She's doing that. It's definitely really interesting. I think being the single friend, you can often feel like people are looking down on you or feel bad for you. That's the word I'm looking for. I think when you're the single friend, sometimes it can feel like people feel bad for you and people are kind of like, oh, well, I hope one day your prince does come type of vibes. But the reality is, in my experience, oftentimes they're not looking down on you. And sometimes they're actually like, not just saying like they want what you have, like they would trade in their spouse or their children, but like they live vicariously through you the way you can kind of often want to live vicariously through them, experiencing partnership and parenthood. And it was just so fascinating. One thing last year that I really tried to come to terms with was just like making peace with the fact that maybe my prince is never gonna come. Like maybe that's just not my story, which as somebody who again desires partnership, that is a bit jarring, but it is something that I've come to terms with. And so I feel like making the effort to do that, to come to terms with that. Well, I definitely said I wanted to clean these brushes as I use them, so let me not be trifling. Anyway, yeah, making the effort to do that, I think has definitely allowed me to not approach these situations with like wishful longing, but I would be lying if I said that sometimes the feeling isn't there. I also feel like being the single friend, like how you celebrate holidays is so different. And also like, while I don't covet anyone's relationship, because one, what's for you is for you and what's for me is for me. And two, I don't really know the ins and outs of anyone's relationship. Like how could I? No one is just, you know what I'm saying, that forthcoming. I will say as somebody who really enjoys the holidays, seeing all of my friends with families in particular and how like all of their like cute little holiday traditions, I was just like, oh. This was also a really hard holiday season for me because it was my first one in Japan and I just was not prepared for what I would need to do to get the things I need in order to make it feel like home. And that was on me. With the benefit of hindsight, I can say that like this holiday season would not have been that bad if I had been better prepared for it. But yeah, seeing their like traditions definitely made me be like, oh, Lord, I see what you've done for others and I want that for me. But once like the knee-jerk reaction of longing fades away, I remember I've already booked and paid for one vacation every single month for Q1 of 2025. Like if I had a child, I wouldn't be able to do that. If I had a husband, depending on his job and his PTO, I may not be able to do that. Their life is for them and my life is for me, and it's just something to like remember. But it was nice to know, not nice to know, it was nice to hear that the same way I sometimes look at them and think, oh, I wish that were me, they can also sometimes look at me and be like, oh, I wish that were me. And that does bring me, I don't know, I don't want to say joy, but I don't know, it's nice to know that you're not the only one who feels like there's another life that could have suited them. Do you know what I mean? On another note, since we're talking about families, I had a powerful realization when I went home for the holidays. The reason why I am currently single right now, and this is the number one reason, and like I normally never have a reason. I normally am like, oh, I just haven't met the right person, blah, 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 blah. Whatever you normally say when people ask you that question. No, now I know the reason. The reason why I'm currently single is because I am so thoroughly unimpressed by men. My plan for going home last year was to find like a cute little Hallmark holiday fling situation. Nobody lived up to the Hallmark movie role. And I think a lot of that comes with, I read way too many romance novels. I grew up watching Disney princess movies. I don't think I've ever really like let go of the fantasy of that. As I've gotten older, I know some women who like their Disney prince has come for them. Do you know what I mean? So I know that it's totally feasible. So anything less than that, I'm so uninterested in. Also, like, I feel like a Disney prince is even easy to find. My issue right now is that I cannot stop reading werewolf stories. I cannot stop reading wolf shifter stories. And I've always known this about myself. I like a bit of toxic masculinity in my men. Okay? I am who I am. Okay, I'm a Yoruba babe. What else could you expect from me? Reading those types of stories and how, especially when it's a good one, the way the author can balance toxic masculinity with him being down bad, that's what I need. Like, I need somebody smooth. I need somebody with good pickup lines. I need somebody with touch her and you die kind of energy. I do need that. And I also just feel like I deserve that. I'm a babe worth giving that to. When I was like meeting men and men were like talking to me, honestly, I realized men can't even get out of the small talk phase with me. Like, cause why are you even trying to make small talk with me? It was a powerful realization. Men are so unimpressive. The men in 2024 are very unimpressive. I remember I was talking to this guy. I was like, oh yeah, I actually live in Tokyo, you know, so I'm only here for the holidays. I'm gonna go back in a couple of days. And he was like, oh, what did he say? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, can I remember? He was like, oh, well, when exactly do you go back? Why do you need to know that? Am I crazy? Like, I just feel like that's a crazy segue for making small talk. And my friend of mine was like, oh, maybe he was trying to like plan a date. You don't even know if I want to go on a date with you. It didn't click in your mind. Maybe you should ask me something interesting about Tokyo. Like, it was such an interesting opening for me. And I don't know, again, maybe that's just like how my mind works and it's unrealistic for me to think everyone else's brain is going to work like that. But I was totally unimpressed with men. And the one guy that I did want to be impressed by, he was my friend with benefits for a little bit, and I talk about this in my vlog. He is a lawyer and he like moved to Pennsylvania. He moved to Philly and he like got barred in Pennsylvania. So now he like lives in Pennsylvania full time. And I was just like, oh, well, I'm not going to Pennsylvania for a man. That's crazy talk. But honestly, out of any man that I spoke to while I was home, I was the only one that I was like, oh yeah, I can make this happen. Also, this is totally TMI. If you know me in real life, don't watch this. And if you happen to be the man that I'm talking about and you're here for whatever reason, don't watch this because you're not going to feel good about yourself. This is TMI, but I want to tell you guys the story of this young man and how to this day, this is totally TMI. But I have to tell you guys this story in order to get to the second story. It's the largest eggplant I have ever seen in person, had in my life. Like, it's pretty gosh darn large, okay? I don't even have anything large enough to accurately describe it to you. And I remember, I don't know, maybe 2021, 2022, he had like asked me, like, was I in Maryland at the time? I think I was still living in Maryland at the time, yeah. And he had like asked me out on a date, and I remember like seizing up because I was just like, I can't take that on a regular basis, buddy. Like, let's us be as we are. Anyhow, a friend of mine was like, when I was telling them, oh, all of the men that I've spoken to except for him have unimpressed me, she was like, why can't you make it work with him? And I said, because I'm not taking that size on a regular basis. It's not realistic. It's don't get me wrong. Is it fun? Is it pleasurable? Absolutely. Is it something that I want to do on a regular basis? I don't think I could commit to more than like 5 times a month. And I don't think that makes for like a healthy relationship. And apparently, again, that's me being too picky. Guilty. Like, I don't know. Like, it was like, I truly don't have anything large enough to show you guys. So you guys could, bigger than this, a little bigger than this. Oh, way bigger than this, because it would be like this. I don't have anything large enough around me to show you guys what I was dealing with. And I'm curious to know, do you take stuff like that into consideration when you're thinking about like men and dating? Can't be too big, can't be too little. Like, I feel like I'm not the only person who thinks of stuff like that. Like, that's why they coined the term boyfriend dick. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy, okay? I've also told this story in front of mixed company before, and by mixed company, I mean non-Black, specifically non-Nigerian, but non-Black. A non-Black person's response was kind of just like, well, aren't all Black men that size? No, they're not. Which is so fascinating. This is a total digression. Nothing to do with what I was going to talk about, but I feel the need to share this. In my life, I have seen exactly 2 micro penises, both times on Black men. Granted, they were Afro-Latino. Now, I don't know if a correlation needs to be made, but I will give that information. But they were Black. So, like, it's so weird to me when, like, other races say stuff like that. Like, not every Black man is a mandingo. Like, get that stereotype out of your head. Stop sexualizing, stop fetishizing them. They have regular penises just like every other man. That being said, I guess I'm very, this is not the direction I thought this was going to go in, but we're here now and I need to get this off my chest. I would not describe myself as like a multicultural liaison. I will say I have been entangled, obviously, with Black men, with African men, because I feel like a lot of people also establish a difference between those two. So I've been with both, though I don't see a difference, but yeah, I've been with Afro-Latino men. I've been entangled with precisely one Asian man. Yeah, and a white guy. That being said, the only real difference I have ever seen in, like, as far as sizing goes is with the outliers. The man I'm referring to now that had the huge one and the 2 micro penises. Everything in the middle is all the same. That's not true. I mean, it's not all the same. It's not all the same. It's not so drastically different that I would be like, oh, okay, I can only continue to go with a man from this race or this culture. It's always so fascinating to me when non-Black women have these ideas about Black men, and it makes me think, like, you've clearly only been with one type of Black man, and that's fine, but why does being with that one type give you such fervor to weigh in on conversations like that? That's what gets me, but maybe I'm crazy, who knows. All of that to say, I'm very unimpressed with men, and I think as I get older, I'm gonna be more and more unimpressed with men, because my life is going to become more and more interesting, more and more exciting. For example, at this point in my life, I have lived and have been a resident of 3 different countries. I've lived in Nigeria, I've lived in America, and I've lived in Japan. I'm living in Japan. What can a man who's never left his hometown say to me? What can he offer me? What can he do for me? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have an issue per se with dating. Like, I always get the collars wrong. I believe it's blue collar, a blue collar guy. My life's dream has always been to date a mechanic. I don't understand how I can never find a mechanic. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. You tell me. But, like, I'm genuinely not opposed to stuff like that. I don't think your job defines who you are, but I think you would have to have so much more behind that in order to impress me. Or you would just have to be like, you would have to have like just the purest heart ever. And I think that's a pretty tall order for a lot of men. It's going to be harder for me to find someone to settle down with, because as I get older, my life becomes more interesting. My life becomes more exciting. I find that I have more to offer. And so I would need that reciprocated in kind. And I don't think that it's going to become easier for me to find a man that can reciprocate as I get older. I think it will become much harder, which is a perfect segue into another realization that I had this past trip home. I know, and I've said it like 18 times in this video already. So y'all are going to be like, how you say that so confidently and now you walking it back? Because I'm a very, you know what I'm saying, interesting woman in that way. I don't know how this is going to show up on my eyes, but we finna find out. Anyway, while I was home, and I was having all these realizations about being like the single friend and the grass is always greener and like wanting something for myself, remembering that I came to terms with like this being my life. And I was having all these realizations. A voice in my head was like, are you longing for a relationship? Are you longing for partnership, or are you longing for partnership because you want to have sex? Just shout out like that. And let me tell you why this is something that I feel like I'm really going to have to like piece together for myself this year. Shortly after what is this? I need some Windex wipes on hand. Shortly after I got home for the holidays, I started ovulating. And can I tell you guys, when you get to be my age, ovulation is like I feel like I didn't even notice when I was ovulating before. When I was younger, ovulation would be like, I don't know, a cute baby would get me a little bit more excited than it would if I wasn't ovulating. Like that would be like the extent of me being cognizant of ovulation. At this age, when I'm ovulating, I feel like I'm going into heat. I feel like an animal. I feel like a wild animal. I'm not even myself when I'm ovulating. It's a completely different experience than the ovulation I grew up with. And like, I feel like those times of the month are when I'm like at my most, wow, I really wish I was partnered right now. But is it like, okay, you're partnered because you really want somebody to be with you, or you want somebody to satiate you? Both. But it's just so interesting. Ovulation just makes me feel like, I don't know, like I don't want a boy toy. I don't think, maybe if I had more money, I would be okay with like having like a sugar baby. Just a nice, good looking young man that's comfortable being seen and not heard, because why would he be talking? At this stage, that's like absolutely not. But I don't know, like I'm wondering, like, do I just want like a boy toy? Here's what I would like. I think when I think of partnership, the first thing that comes to mind is sexual. The second thing that comes to mind is financial. The third thing is like all of the other things that come with a romantic partner. Like that's kind of like the order of importance, or like the order of prioritization for me when I think of why I want a partner, which is really fascinating. And I think I've been this way for a really long time and I've just been in denial about it. But this, yeah, I've really had to come to terms with it recently. Here's what I think my ideal situation would look like in 2025, because I would like to find the ideal situation. Oh, I deserve it. A young man, and I say young man, but the youngest I could go at this point is like 28 and 6 months. I don't think I could go any younger than 28 and 6 months. Like 28 and 6 months. And that's honestly like, he has to have all of these qualifications. Like nothing else can be missing. Okay, you'd have to be tall, because I'm so sorry. Like I'm just not in a place where I want to compromise that right now. I've tried short men in the past. No disrespect. It's just not what I want. So yeah, definitely tall. At least taller than me. I don't think that's a tall order. 5'11" and a half or taller. Financially well fit. I don't really care what you do. Actually, there's a list of professions I wouldn't date, but we can get into that in another video. Or maybe later. But also, whatever your job is, it needs to have enough flexibility that you can travel often. I'm open to even somebody that they can travel, but they still have to like work on the go. Normally that's kind of annoying, but I could deal with that. They have to be well read. I don't want to date a man that doesn't read fiction. Well read, a fiction reader, and somebody with hobbies and a good friend group who has read, I know I just said fiction only, but who has read a book along the lines of like She Comes First, Sex for Dummies, or who has had a previous woman in his life who has like sat him down and taught him the ins and outs. Women like you, if you're watching this and you're somebody that sits your men down and teaches them the ins and outs, you don't get your 10s enough. Consider these your 10s. You deserve them. You've earned them. God bless you, okay? Your contribution to society is not going unlooked over here. I hate when this happens. It's not enough. Oh, maybe it is enough. Okay, where was I? I like feel like I lost my list. Okay, let me focus. For the list, the type of man I want. Financially well fixed. Whatever job they have, they're able to take a lot of travel time. They are Christian. They are at least 5'11" and a half. I'm sorry, I cannot go any shorter at this point in my life. It is what it is. Preferably, but I go back and forth on this one, I need somebody that weighs more than me. I've had skinny men before. I realize it makes me very self-conscious. I don't want to have to deal with that. Let's just make it easy for everybody. I would prefer someone who spoke at least 2 languages. You don't have to be fluent in the second language, but at least conversational. That appeals to me. Somebody who reads, not just nonfiction, not everyday nonfiction, sometimes fiction, sometimes immerse yourself in a different world. I like that in a man. Sense of humor, obviously. God-fearing. Did I say that already? Obviously. Somebody that wants to pray over me. That's the kind of man I like. Somebody also who knows how to like read the room. I feel like too often I get saddled with men that do not understand social cues. I don't want that for me. Those are like the basis, like bare minimum that I'm looking for in a man to like feel like they've impressed me beyond desiring them, beyond sex. But I feel like I don't even know if a man could get there because my expectations. Here's another thing. When I say men don't impress me, I mean that for like sex too. I'd be looking at tiny little things and I'd be like, oh, he wouldn't be good in bed. Like he just did that. Like there's no way he'd be good in bed. Let me tell you something. And I have not been proved wrong by this yet. Here's a free game, ladies. If you're talking to a man and you're trying to figure out if you want to sleep with him or not, if you tell him something about you or something that you know is a fact, like a fact about anything, and his knee-jerk reaction is to push back against it, he's not going to be good in bed, sister. he's not gonna be good in bed. Those are little things I be looking at. I can tell within like the first 15 minutes of meeting a man if I'm gonna have sex with him or not. And that's the issue, because I feel like you need more than 15 minutes, but I don't. That explains why I'm not getting laid. It's like, if I long to be in a relationship, my standards are too high. If I long just to have sex, my standards are too high. You guys, is it me? Am I the drama?
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
Okay, the last thing I want to say about men. This is not meant to be a male-centric. It's not male-centric. It's what I think of them. But this wasn't even meant to be all that. I just have to get this off my chest and then I can move on. One thing that happened when I was back at home is people kept asking me like, what's it like dating Japanese men? You know, like what's dating like as a black woman in Japan? And I have not dated any Japanese men since I've been out here. Every man that I've gone out with has been black of some form, whether they're black American, black European, black African, black wherever. They have been black. And more specifically, with the exception of one, they have all played Japan's B League, the basketball team. Lord, free me from the shackles of the B League. It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. Let me tell you why I'm really starting to like feel some type of way about it. I feel like they just see a nice body, a cute smile. They have no desire to, they don't want partnership. They're just tired of sleeping with Asian women and want to diversify their prospects, is what it often feels like for me. It's fascinating because I feel like some, not all, but some of them definitely give off the aura of they want you to be docile and fawn over them and be excited about the idea of sleeping with a black man the same way a lot of Asian women that they do sleep with are, but they also are coming to me specifically for my African features. So it's like, is it one mic or is it Uchiwali? Because you can't get both, baby. And it's, I don't know, it's just very, I'm starting to feel fetishized by my own people. Yeah, I don't like it. And I think that's been my major issue with like the B League. It's funny to like talk about and kiki, but yeah, at the end of the day, free me from the shackles of the B League. Do you know what? I forgot to mention this, and I'm making a whole other video on it, so maybe that's why my brain was like, no need to mention it. Your girl got monetized last year. Whoa. We're supposed to be catching up, and I'm like not even leading with the big stuff. But yeah, your girl got monetized last year as of December 29th, 2024, which is like a huge thing because my goal was to be monetized before the end of the year. And it was definitely like God of the 11th hour type vibes. Like definitely last minute. I saw so many videos like, oh, YouTube is on easy mode. And I don't know where people are getting that from. Maybe we using two different YouTubes. It was not easy. It took a lot of hard work and dedication. And so yeah, I'm super proud of myself that I was able to make it to that finish line for the year and hit that goal that I created for myself. If you missed it, I am going to do a series on YouTube for 2025 called Road to 10K, which is just talking about different things that I'm like doing and like trying as I attempt to grow this channel from, I think we're at 1,500 now, to grow it from 1,500 to 10,000 by the end of 2025. Because you guys really liked my tips about everything that I learned after posting consistently for 90 days. So I felt like, you know, let's keep these good vibes going. But yeah, your girl got monetized. Thank you to everybody that watches my content, that engages with my content. Your likes mean a lot. Your comments mean a lot. Your shares mean a lot. If I ever say something that you feel like one of your homies need to hear and you share it with them, like every time YouTube sends me like the analytics at the end of the week, I'm always gagged at like how many shares my videos are getting. I'm like, people are sending this to people. Like that really warms my heart. Yeah, your girl's officially a YouTube partner. So this video, you should be able to like, I don't know what they call it, like a super thanks or a super chat. If you think I'm super, you can pay to tell me that now. Exciting. Speaking of which, what do you guys want to see on this channel? Like, I have a lot of travel coming up, so I'm excited to give you guys more like travel vlogs. I genuinely love sit down, get ready with me videos, but like, what do you guys want to see more of? Do you guys want to see more Tokyo travel, more vlogs, more big sister sit down chit chat advice? Let me know in the comments because I always have so many ideas, but obviously I'm on YouTube because I want to do stuff that the audience wants to see. It helps when the audience tells cuts out all the guesswork for me, which I can appreciate. I'm going skiing for the first time in like a week. I literally just got back. I just arrived.
I just arrived. Is the president coming? I just arrived. When last did you speak to you? I just arrived.
And I'm going skiing in a week. I've never been skiing before. I just wanted to go to Hokkaido. I had never been to Hokkaido and I had watched this anime which was really disturbing, but it just got me interested in Hokkaido. It was like called like Hokkaido Girls Are Super Cute. Everyone involved with that needs to go to jail. I can't trust that enough. Those people are sick in the head. then. But before it got weird, it was a really cute anime. It made me want to go to Hokkaido. And so I was like, okay, I haven't been. What should I do in Hokkaido? Skiing, obviously. Everyone in Hokkaido skis. I've never been before. I said, well, no time like the present to get skiing off my bucket list. I was gonna do the Shinkansen, but then it was like, it just made more sense to fly, I felt like. So I just booked a flight. So yeah, excited to like take you guys with me to Hokkaido. You guys get to watch me ski for the first time. That should all be quite exciting. So that's January. February, I'm doing like a little staycation in Yokohama. If you watch my Yokohama vlog, or well, I did a lot that vlog, but I did go to Yokohama for the day and I botched being able to go to the cup noodle factory. So I'm gonna go back, spend the night. I think I'm spending 2 nights in Yokohama. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna go to the museums. There's like a ramen museum and a ramen factory. So I'm gonna go to both. I'm gonna go back to the carnival and just have a good old time, do some shopping. I might take like a ferry trip to just be on the water for a little bit, which I'm excited about. I love, love, love being on the water. So yeah, so that's Yokohama. That's gonna be exciting. And then in March, I'm going to Bali. I'm going to Bali with a travel group. And I don't know how I feel about this travel group right now. So I'm gonna let the trip go before I like tell you guys about which group it was, how I like the trip, but you guys will see like the trip. So I'm excited to have a lot of travel lined up for you guys, and I think I'm going to be going to Thailand in April, but I won't know for like another month or so. I have a lot of travel lined up, which is really exciting. So you guys are going to be getting some travel vlogs soon. What else? I also have stuff like just around my neighborhood too that I'm interested in doing. I definitely am getting back into solo dates. I keep seeing the videos of like people walking their city, like let's walk New York, let's walk DC. I kind of want to walk Tokyo. I looked it up. Walking Tokyo is like 4 hours. Actually, hold on, let's Google, because I feel like it's 4 hours seems like less than what I thought it was. Okay, yeah, this makes way more sense. So 6 hours, that makes way more sense. It's 6 hours to walk all of Tokyo from the top to the bottom, or from the top to where I live. There's not much below me. I'm in Meguro. Meguro is pretty southern. There's like Shinagawa, and then like you're in Kawasaki. Not much below me. So yeah, walking from the top back to my house would take 6 hours. The walking time itself is not what's getting me. It's like, okay, 6 hours in this weather, I think I would need to wait for it to warm up just a bit. Although it's not that cold. It's like 50 degrees out here, which is not bad at all. Yeah, I really want to do that. I really want to walk all of Tokyo. But yeah, what do you guys want to see from me? Do we want to do more get ready with me's? If so, what's the topic? You guys seem to like the dating ones. A friend of mine said this. My friend was like, I need you to go out on more dates because you tell the best dating stories, which shout out to her for not caring about my mental health. It's just her own enjoyment. I don't mind doing things for the plot either. Is that what you guys want to see? Is dating in Japan something that is of interest? Shout out to everybody who watched my, I think it was my seasonal depression vlog, where at the end I did a giveaway. Shout out to the giveaway winner. Somebody teach me how to do giveaways. Do y'all like when y'all names get announced on stuff, or do you just prefer the DM? I DM'd her already, but like, I don't know. I was watching somebody else's video and like she had the name right on the screen. I don't know. Something like that would make me uncomfortable. Does that type of stuff bother y'all? I don't know. Is that how you're supposed to do it? I used to do giveaways on TikTok and I never used to do that. I would just DM the person and it worked out, but I'm wondering, is YouTube a little different? I try to treat y'all how I would want to be treated, and I don't know if I would particularly care for that. Oh my gosh. One of the main things I wanted to talk about in this Get Ready With Me was this incredible video I watched. So I don't know if you guys know Bria Jones. She has a YouTube channel, but this was on TikTok. She was talking about Bria Jones, and like apparently Bria Jones is pregnant and she was having a baby shower, and an hour before the baby shower her friends were calling to cancel on her, which I've talked about this. I've been in a similar situation. Obviously I don't want no babies, but I had an event and last minute all of my friends canceled on me. It's devastating. Anyway, the video wasn't particularly about that. The video that the woman made, it wasn't Bria Jones, it was a different woman commenting on it, was about how social contracts are constantly being broken in this day and age, and like people don't appreciate social contracts. Sorry, I noticed the camera was heating up a bit, so I decided to let it cool down before I started using it again. All I did was set my face with powder, and I'm just kind of baking right now, letting the powders sit on the face. Back to what I was saying. Here's what I've noticed about social contracts, particularly with women. First, before I even get into that, for any man that's this far along in the video who's thinking women are always falling out with each other, I just want to remind you that that is the same fallacy that white people use to talk about black on black crime. It's a matter of proximity, and I can go into that further if you would like. Let me know in the comments. Here's what I think that women tend to do. Women all too often tend to treat platonic relationships as placeholders for romantic relationships. When I was a bit younger, I used to kind of write that off and I'd be like, oh, well, you know, it's a more important relationship, especially when you're talking about like marriage, right? Like marriage is a relationship that's defined by the law, right? Like there's paperwork involved with that relationship. So of course you're going to want to put more energy into it. You're going to want to sew into it a bit more because it's not just like, it's more than a choice. It's a legally binding contract. Like there's something that goes into it. You're responsible to and for that other person. It's a deeper relationship. So, okay, maybe it makes sense that you're kind of prioritizing that over your platonic friendships. But as I have aged, I've noticed that single mothers do not abandon their friends the same way married women do. I would argue that being a mother, like having a child, is a far more important relationship than having a spouse, particularly because that is a human that will quite literally die without you. Like your child has no choice but to depend on you. So I've noticed, like in the case of single moms are desperate to remain in community with their friends, even if both parties recognize that they no longer have things in common anymore. Whereas married women will all too often let their single friends just kind of fall by the wayside, even if they still have many things in common with them. And I think that plays a part into, as far as women go, which women are more likely to break social contracts than which women are not likely to break social contracts. I think like maybe Bria had mentioned her video, it was like a Gen Z millennial thing. I don't know if I subscribe to that. I think that it has more to do with like the standing of the women's relationship status. That's what I think. Because when I think back to the event that I had, everyone was a millennial. The only person that did not cancel on me was single. Only person that was single with no kids. And so, yeah, I don't think that, I think that that plays a huge role in it. And it's fascinating to me that we do this because, yes, marriage is a different type of relationship. It requires paperwork. Like there's contracts involved, of course. But like, I think that it's very telling when I see a woman who actively and without shame uses her platonic friendships as a practice ground for her romantic relationships. Like, you never bought your platonic friends a birthday gift, but your man's birthday comes around and you're scraping your coins together to buy him a gift. You have no problem canceling on your friend's event, your platonic friend's event, but your man is, I don't know, he done got perfect attendance at work and you want to throw him a little party at the house. I think that plays a major role in it. I think there are other things that factor into it, but that's something that I've noticed as women. And please let me know, have y'all noticed something similar? Do you think it's all in my head? Is it just the people I roll with? Because look, one thing about me, I know it's not me, but it could be the people I roll with, and maybe I need to roll with some new people because I'm going to show up to everything. I treat your event like my event. And the same way I would want my event to be good, I would want your event to be good. So not only am I going to show up, I'm going to bring a gift. Do you need help with anything in advance? Do you need me to pick up something? Like, I'm going to be all in for you. Maybe I'm crazy for anticipating that my friends would be all in for me. Maybe people don't respect the social contracts anymore, but I will say this as somebody who, we're circling back to the single friend, as somebody who is amongst the last of her friends to like be married, to have children, I've definitely noticed people did not move like this when they were single. People did not disregard social contracts like this when they ain't had no man. And if such a time should come where they go back to not having a man, where they don't have that husband anymore, would they then understand the value of social contracts again? I've seen it happen a couple of times. So it's just like, for me, that's kind of like where I am with it. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of like my spiel on social contracts and like how people move when they're in a relationship versus not in a relationship. What has been y'all experience with stuff like that? I'm very curious to know. And also, I want you to do a bit of self-reflecting. Are you the person I'm talking about? Are you the person I'm talking about? Because here's the thing. I think we've all been there. Like I said, when I was younger, when I was much younger, I didn't see an issue with it. It hurt when it would happen to me, but I just kind of chalked it up to like circle of life type thing. Now, now that I'm older, wiser, has seen a bit more of the world, I understand that it's wrong in any context. People are not placeholders, and you can't treat people like placeholders. That's so disrespectful, especially people who, when you're down and you're at your lowest, you're looking to them, and then once you got yourself a little boot thing, you're just gonna leave them high and dry, and you no longer care what happens to them if they're down or at their their lowest because they're no longer in the same space as you relationship wise. Horrible person. Horrible person. But yeah, tell me something. Weigh in, because I'm so curious to know. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all of this. Please drop a comment down below. We haven't chatted in ages. Maybelline? Y'all did y'all's hugest possible one with this. Y'all was in the lab with this. Why was this on sale? This should be full price. I'm not mad. I'm just saying. So yeah, waiting for the glue to dry on these lashes. Hope I don't need to adjust any more than I've already adjusted. And then my new background for 2025 is me in baby's first cosplay, Gojo Satoru. I love this look. Like, I ate this up way more than I anticipated eating it up. My plan is to get a little bit more into cosplay. I feel like I'm in the cosplay capital. To not be in my cosplay bag just seems like a waste of everybody's time. But yeah, I think I want to get into my cosplay bag. Would you guys want to see that? Should I keep that on Instagram, or do you guys want to see when I get into the cosplay Duffy? Okay, lashes are on. This is the final look. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me in 2024, and I hope that you guys continue to rock with me in 2025. We're about to make this channel blow up, and I'm happy that you guys are on the journey with me. Anywho, I know you want to keep these good vibes going, so on this side, here's another Get Ready With Me where I shared 24 lessons that I learned in 2024. Honestly, that video is probably some of my best work yet. Go over there and hype me up, please. On this side is a video that YouTube thinks that you will enjoy. Now, if you choose this video, watch it, and then in the comments, let me know, does YouTube know you as well as YouTube thinks that they know you? Give me the tea, okay? Let me know in the comments. All right, see you guys next video. Bye.